From Lies That Chelsea Handler Told Me by Chelsea's friends, family, friends, and other victims. Chapter 13, Raise the Woof by Chunk. The extent to which Mom will lie has no limits. She lies to her friends, her co-workers, her family, even to her dog. I'm Chunk Handler, and I'm Chelsea's dog. I'm half Asian and half German Shepherd. Please don't try to adjust the pages of this book. You read that correctly. I'm a dog. I have thoughts, dreams, and feelings all my own. And this is a story about the last time Mom pulled the dog fur over my eyes. It was at our old place some time ago, and I was in the middle of another homeschool obedience lesson. Her then boyfriend was constantly training me to sit, stay, and heel. He always spoke real loud and slow, as if I'd just stepped off the short bus. So, as I said, he was trying to get me to do some dumb trick. I don't know. I wasn't really listening. I was just thinking, how about I play dead and you walk away for a long time? Mom was watching this from across the kitchen, nursing a Belvedere and soda. She had pity in her eyes. I couldn't tell if it was pity for me or just self-pity. After a while of me pretending to be a dumb dog, her boyfriend got frustrated and huffed away. I couldn't believe this was going to be the rest of my life. I mean, it beats the dog pound, but it wasn't great either. Once he was gone, Mom walked over to me, kneeled down, and said, "Don't worry, Chunk, I'm going to get us out of this mess." That was music to my ears. Finally, we were going to be alone. A lot happened the next year, but the biggest development was that Mom and I moved out. All I ever wanted was a quiet place with no annoying people around. The large, modern home we moved into that summer was perfect, or so I thought. Lots of rooms she'd asked for. I had hoped it was because she wanted to give me different areas to explore, but no, she wanted to fill those rooms with people. This was an if you build it, they will come type of summer house. It had a giant pool, a diving board for her brother Roy, a big backyard, and a horse stable. Thank goodness those dumb horses moved out with the owners of the house. A horse is not my idea of a good time, and neither are the dumps they take. It was summer bliss, but also summer hell, because I realized on the day we moved in that we were never going to be alone again. It's not that I don't like people, I just think I'm better than most of them. There are a lot of idiots at Mom's office, and I have the reputation around there of being a little aloof and antisocial. These are some of the things I've heard them say about me behind my hairy back. "That dog is an asshole," Johnny Kansas has repeatedly said before I've even left a room. "Johnny, Mom calls you the bird because your body is frail like a little girl's. Who's the asshole now?" "He's not my type of dog," said Chris Frangiola one morning after I averted my eyes from his horse-like smile. The thought wasn't lost on me to store his ass in one of the stables at our new pad. "Chris, you don't have a type. Your only type is a girl dumb enough to text you naked pictures of herself. Thumbs up, my brother." My first day at the office was kind of like my first day at the pound. Basically, you have to find the weakest link and make him your bitch. I found a guy named Ryan Bassford. He was the perfect man bitch. Just goofy enough to take me on walks, feed me, and entertain me while Mom was too busy. He is also known to sit down when he urinates and to wipe his ass from back to front. It was painful enough to spend most of my days with all the pedestrian people at Mom's work, but another little problem presented itself. His name was Jackson. He's a boxer. No, not a Mike Tyson type boxer, because that would be cool. Jax is a boxer dog, and he pretty much sucks boxer balls. Jax is a purebred, and purebreds are always such egomaniacs. They think they're so great looking, but usually they have a few screws loose upstairs due to inbreeding. He's also a real man's dog, the type that's basically responsible for why dogs ever got the moniker man's best friend in the first place. Ironic that he belongs to a couple of lesbos. Jax used to live in Dallas with the said lesbos, Shelly and Kelly. One day, about 7 dog years ago, Mom and I flew to Dallas with 5 of her friends after she ditched her then boyfriend. What happened between my mother and Jax upon our arrival was one of the most horrific sights I've ever seen. I can hardly think about it, let alone tell a story. Johnny Kansas was sick enough to videotape Jax forcing himself on my mom until she was on the ground, and then humping her with his red rocket lipstick penis. He was rubbing it all against her back as he licked her entire face with his big tongue. It was repulsive. It was like accidentally watching a porn movie starring your mom and David Hasselhoff having doggy-style sex on top of that stupid Knight Rider car, except there wasn't even a car. I didn't bother trying to protect my mother that day because she was laughing and I didn't want to look stupid. The main problem with my mother is that she laughs at everything, especially her own jokes. As a big F you to me, Jax and his lesbian moms ended up moving into our summer house. On top of that, Mom's brother, Uncle Roy, moved in with, get this, a fucking Jack Russell asshole who yapped from morning till night. Luckily, my mom got sick of that dog just as quickly as I did and had it transported on a pet airline to her sister Shoshana in New Jersey. If I never see that dog again, it will be too soon. On top of that, our quiet little abode soon became Grand Central Station for all of Mom's idiotic staff. It was like a new train came in every day with a fresh load of mumbling, ignoramus passengers. It was the opposite of being alone. It was moron day every day. This was not turning out like I had planned, or like Mom had promised. Instead of dealing with one annoying person, I know how to deal with a whole array of them. I don't know if she realized it, but in getting me out of one mess, she brought me into a much bigger mess altogether. On second thought, I bet she did realize it. The constant barrage of irritation followed me to work as well. I mean, Jax literally followed me to Mom's office every day. Hanging out with that dog is like being at a sleepover with some kid you don't really like, but your mom makes you hang out with him because she's friends with his mom. The hitch was that this sleepover never ended. Every night the dumb kid's like, hey, do you want to build a fort in the living room? All I'm thinking is yes, if you'll go inside it and stay there for a long time without me. The problem with Jax is that all the boneheads in Mom's office really like him. That's actually an understatement. They absolutely love that dog. And I get it. He's very dog. He has a nice short coat that screams I never have to get groomed, but you can always see my muscles. He loves balls. I love saying that. Jax loves balls. He runs up to everyone all happy-go-lucky. Rub my belly this. Scratch behind my ears that. Hey, let's play fetch. He's always smiling. He's always happy. He's everything I'm not, and I'm forced to face that fact 24 hours a day. It's really exhausting being around Jax. If my eyes could roll back any farther in my head in reaction to him, they'd be staring at the front of my brain. I started hiding in the bathroom just to get away from everything. Like an old book in the public library, I often check myself out of the situation. Sometimes someone walks in and say, Elizabeth, Chelsea's assistant, and she'll be like, oh, poor Chunk, you got locked in the bathroom again, by accident. Here, let me bring you out. No, Elizabeth, this is not an accident. I would rather sit on this cold tile floor in the bathroom, listening to the tinkle of girls going to the bathroom, than be subjected to everyone out there. I'm just not part of that group, and I don't have to try to be. Mom loves me because I'm authentic to who I am, right? Not because I act like Jax or like Johnny or like Heather. I'm just different from all those people out there. I know dogs are supposed to be pack animals, but I feel like more of a pack of cigarettes kind of animal. All I need is myself, my smokes, and that tornado of thoughts swirling around in my head. I don't really smoke because dogs can't actually smoke, you silly goose. Which brings us to Mom's big 4th of July pool party. Los Angeles had been hit with the heat wave. I always thought a heat wave had something to do with a bunch of female dogs in heat waving at me, but I guess it just means that it gets hot as balls outside. I don't have balls anymore, FYI. So, due to this heat wave, Mom's lesbian stylist Amy had my entire body shaved to keep me cool. But they left the hair around my head and my neck all bushy. I look like a stupid lion. Hanging out at one of Mom's parties is like dropping acid and watching Teletubbies. All the usual suspects were in full form. Brad Wallach was under an umbrella, applying SPF 200. He likes to brag about being a cancer survivor and that his sunscreen has to be specially ordered from Canada. Ben Glebe was busy running the ping pong table, which is appropriately placed between the lesbian quarters and the horse stables. The camera guys were smoking pot somewhere, the topless security guard was playing badminton against himself, and Heather Longboobs was walking around in a cocktail gown, which was way overdressed for a pool party. Heather's a real C-word, a real cougar. You get the idea. The party was a traveling circus full of carny-style freaks. You people wonder why I'm a little aloof and antisocial? Take a look at yourselves, you sickos. I'm not like you. Mom had a new boyfriend at the time. I'll call him Salami because his neck was so big it reminded me of a giant tube of salami. Anyway, Salami was some kind of animal trainer, and I think he felt he needed to drive that point home by using me as his animal trainee all day. I tried telling him, look, you aren't the dog whisperer, and I'm not a wild lion from South Africa, so let's just try to have a normal relationship here and avoid each other. Much to my dismay, Salami kept picking me up and walking around the party with me in his arms. It was humiliating. I'm not a lap dog, I'm a big dog, and big dogs don't get carried around in people's arms like that. To make matters worse, he carried me into the pool and started wading around in the water with me still in his arms. Look, I'm a grown dog. If I want to go swimming, I'll do what normal dogs do and just jackknife off the diving board. As I was wading around the pool with Salami, I noticed Jack barking at a bush. He is such a summer bummer. I can't believe Mom surrounded me with all these weirdos. If I had a cell phone, I would call my chunk counterpart, Chocolate Chunk Sylvan, to come pick me up and drive me to the Jersey Shore or somewhere else tropical. He has a nice big car, and he always drives Mom around when she's on tour. Salami was done with our little synchronized swimming routine. Nobody seemed very impressed. He lifted me out of the pool, and my wet body felt so naked without all my fur. So I ran inside to find my mom and complain about our new living situation. That house is like a giant maze. I felt like a rat trying to find Cheese Whiz. I don't think I've even seen every room in the place yet. I cruised through one of the guest rooms and then to the bathroom. Oh shit, I didn't want to see that. Might want to knock, said some guy. I had accidentally walked in on Jeff, who was changing into a bathing suit. I don't have thumbs, I told him, makes it hard to knock, and I darted off. Jeff books all the shows for Mom's tour. I've got a few problems with this guy. First of all, he spells his name wrong. Second, he has more hair in his body than I do. Watching him apply sunscreen is like watching someone rub ranch dressing into a brown shag carpet. Doesn't that thick coat of body hair block the sun enough? And finally, since he's constantly taking Mom on the road, I barely get to see her anymore. In my opinion, he overbooks her. I'm worried she's going to develop comedic fatigue stress syndrome disorder. I don't know if that's a real disease, but it sounds pretty serious. Mom's on tour a lot now. It's good for Jeff, but it's bad for me. I really don't care about anybody's well-being other than mine and my mom's. Remember, people, the only person who's ever going to have your best interest in your life is yourself and your dog, if you have one, unless your dog doesn't like you. I passed through the kitchen where Uncle Roy was cooking food for everyone. I think he likes cooking. I just don't think he likes cooking for all these thankless a-holes. Roy's head looks like a Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade balloon, and his body is like those ropes holding the balloon to the ground. He never gives me table scraps. He's pretty much good for nothing. Some dumb kid was munching out of a giant bowl of candy that Mom leaves out for them. It's like every generation of crazy is partying here today. These kids remind me of children of the corn, but today they're children of the candy corn because they're stuffing fistfuls of it into their little saccharin-soaked bodies. Just hope they don't find any of the marijuana candy that's floating around here. On second thought, that would be really funny. I hope they find a lot of that marijuana candy that's floating around here. That'll teach them. I passed by Chewy. He's the only person I really see eye to eye with. I stay out of his way, he stays out of mine. We have a common understanding. It's probably because we both served time in the pound at one point in our lives. Finally, after endless searching through this carnival unfun house, I found my mom. She was in the bedroom getting changed. Most people think it's so cool that she changes in front of me. First of all, she's my mom. And second of all, if you want to see her breasts, all you have to do is get a job on her show. Everybody there gets to see those things at one point or another. I figured this was my moment. It was my last chance to plead my case and to inject some sort of normalcy into her brain, so I said, Mom, this situation is terrible. My summer is ruined. People think I'm an asshole, and I don't even care, 'cause all your friends and your brother, they're all freaks, and we can do better than them. It would be so much nicer with just you and me, so what do you say? Take my paw. Take my whole life, too. Let's get out of here, girl. Of course she couldn't understand a word I was saying, because to her it all sounded like pant, 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 pant. Someone should invent a device to translate dog thoughts. They'd make a killing. So Mom was like, oh, hey, Chunk, Amy got you this really stupid cowboy hat. And I was like, oh, no, you don't, girl. But it was too late. Mom strapped this ridiculous-looking spring break cowboy hat to my head and, against my will, sent me back out to the party. No surprise that everyone had a good hearty laugh at my expense. I mean, all those whack jobs and they were laughing at me? I couldn't believe it. Jax was still barking at a bush. The camera guys were getting drunker and more stoned. Roy was teaching my bitch Ryan how to dive into the pool. Chris Frangiola was hitting on some girl young enough to be his granddaughter. And the topless security guard was still beating himself at badminton. Salami came over and lifted me up in his arms again. Ugh, will this ever stop? My head was starting to spin. The world was like a dreidel. I was hyperventilating, which again just looked like I was panting. I was ready to pass out, but then everything stopped and my jaw dropped. I caught my reflection in the pool and saw myself as the world saw me. As just another member of this motley crew. I realized that I had turned into one of them. I looked like a wet mutt / stupid lion / gay cowboy on spring break / half Asian dog. I don't know if I'd always been such a misfit or if I'd caught it like the flu. All I knew is at that moment I truly was one of them. Mom had said that she was going to get me out of that mess, and she had, but she'd brought me into a bigger mess. I guess her lie was that she never told me this was where I belonged. I belonged there because I was a mess too. I'd always thought I was better than or different from all these people, but I guess I'm not. I'm like the pitcher on their dumbass softball team. I feel like such a dum-dum now for not seeing it all along. You have to realize that if my mom picks on you, it's because she likes you. If she lies to you, it's because she loves you. All it means is that you're one of the lucky messes in her pack. And as I was looking around at all the oddballs and outcasts having a blast at her 4th of July pool party, I realized that she hadn't rescued just me. She'd rescued all of us. And then the chapter ends with a little note from Chelsea. I love you too, Chunk. You're a real asshole, and I respect that. I'd also like to apologize for the bevy of men you've had to share our bed with. I have tried to be more selective in my 30s, but not every day is a home run. I do promise never to let another man pick you up and force you to swim in our pool. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for not being a racist during that one brief period. Chelsea.